You get started.
Okay.
It's just good. You want to stay where you say, fight for your right.
I don't know. You know what? Is it
Not the assignment.
Huh?
I am.
Alt. Ate it. Oh.
Bye, Seth. Good luck. I know they have the same idea.
Should I add more cola? Mr. Brogero, should I add more cola?
Maybe.
Maybe.
It needs color.
It needs cola.
Food is a weapon.
Food is a weapon.
Yes.
You should make the O's donuts.
Yeah. So they're on.
No, it's basically. I know, that's school, yeah. It is confusing.
Okay.
You have to go out class.
Well, I can show you if you get on now. I can show you where those terms are. You can start looking at those. And then maybe tomorrow. You can come in. Or we can go tomorrow.
Don't look at the.
I wish I was in your coffee class.
That's literally the best class in the world.
I remember one day you told me that you were gonna just like phone.
Oh, yeah.
That made me laugh.
I never did.
Asking that.
He has no memories.
I would honestly probably do it right now, but first class up in the sky.
Computer's too old to actually.
Wait, what? How fast were you going to the hospital? No shit. Change? My dad's
Mine was a massive
Riker,
What?
can you rap about World War One?
World War One, it wasn't really fun. A bunch of people were dying. It was probably from a bunch of machine guns.
That's pretty good.
Everyone said the shop was clean.
Dang. That was pretty good.
A soldier without his leg said, "Not me."
Logan, can you draw this out for me? I want to tattoo this.
Hey, Bradrow.
Well, that'd be my tattoo.
Bradrow.
That Hitler, Adolf Hitler, fought in the Great War.
I did know that.
The war, and all wars.
They're donuts. Seth, don't laugh at me.
Was that first hand?
Yeah,
It was
red, white, and blue donuts.
Yes.
One out of three. Yeah, I was so confused.
Can't do that? Yeah, it's easy.
Oh, you can. Well, I say I generated stuff for inspiration because that actually works.
I need a brown.
I just did earlier because I was writing the paper and I got the whole paper. Oh my God, Carter's dead. It's Kai's fault. It's not my fault. Kai's fault. They worked together to kill him. So we can pay for it.
Talk to you about your guys' state of quarantine and how we can help you change that.
That's racist.
Hey, you're racist.
You have a black beard. And you're white. What's your problem?
Well, oh yeah. I have my grandma in my
Seth,
How do you taste the rainbow without eating Skittles?
I feel like I've heard this one before.
I was like,
What is
no. I don't think it was going to kiss you if she's there. Am I wrong though?
Maybe if I hate her.
What?
I'm not, but then I'm like, no, I'm not able
Sky.
so many, you won't put you up for something.
Like my family, my dad.
I'm really German flag.
They're just.
Wiener.
Why?
That's what my mom said.
My dad's. Your hands between the knife and your hand with the dart, so you have to shove it, not even, but it's in between the legs.
Yeah.
So there's a whole lot of mixing going on. And they made it so they
Actually,
either to the board. My bad, Seth. Yeah. I'm glad I can be in the room when they're playing that game. 15 and under, you're in a different room playing games. Not
I'm still figuring out in like, no.
I love like when his friends come over, like my friends come over and I'm just sitting there. Is this your son? No, that's my son. My dad's pretty big. Like, no, that's my son. And this is his son. Oh, there's a whole bunch of people with dementia. Like we can't. Wow. I've had people go out to me, so what's your name again?
I don't know.
It's fine. And my grandpa, he just, he'll take me around.
what'd you do to my pony?
I didn't do anything to you for home.
Why is there a download sign? What'd you download?
I didn't download anything. What? Audie?
It's a little bit.
That's my trip.
These.
He drove it there.
These.
Never moved.
I will help you, Seth.
Oh,
Let me go get a black mark.
oh.
Whoops, I got two black markers.
How's
I will help you, my good son.
Please don't draw outside the line.
My grandpa lived up the whole, Spores, that's where my dad lived.
So this guy just went in right into this.
And we did parties in that barn. They're all. You know the mini golf? I've never paid for a single round of that. Because my grandpa, he just showed up. My grandpa was like, yes, you need a dart. Hold up. So, oh, you don't. Here's the clubs, go.
That's why
we don't
We paid for that.
On offense, you have to block. They don't get trouble.
We have to.
What are we doing?
We have to shut the. We block stairs off. So both people will try getting up. And they're super big. That's how it works. And then we go to the
Not tackling them, you're pushing them.
Okay, pumpkin. Don't be mad.
Oh, no.
What's the clock for?
The first time we actually, that's probably that.
Nope. Oh, hey. Whoa. Chill, man. Chill. Look at it. Up in the sky.
You like
Red, purple, or yellow guy.
But they're not gonna have a red or yellow.
You can either write about it or you can do a.
They're gonna have a black and white jersey.
So then you're gonna look for some
They're not gonna
the elements are all the same.
I'll look at the list.
The requirements are up there, text, symbolism, color, just have a call to action on it somewhere.
Three good reasons to like number one on the best truck here. We have determined that with Jeff, you're in your factory warranty. Well, shit. What did you expect? Smells like burnt oil and rusted frames. And you all talk, no bark, no break, no start, no light. Since you feel business program to just say it's built better, haul better, and I'm faster than you. In fact, they can make a twin charge version of me and call it the Usain Bolt protection.
Oh, yeah.
Yes?
Can I have an extra day because I wasn't here?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Can I join the race after I get done charging? Just so bad that in the broom closet you are embarrassing on it. Can I go wait till done charge? You shut the hell up, you ain't safe electric anything. That's chocolate.
What?
Cody, can you do something for me? Cody, can you do something?
Yeah, after you us.
Okay, now, like trace the words in blue.
Did this blue or did this
Dark
blue?
blue.
Both of them.
Sadly, I got more.
American. Oh, it's right here. There's 13 stripes and colors. This is not red. That is like an orange.
You're an ugly.
Take that back. Oops.
I'm tracing these exactly how you wrote down. There you go. If that's how you like your G.
So, it's special restriction for the flavor, a red or white. That I take twice a day with some medication.
First class.
It would basically cure my asthma. Or at least treat it really.
Maybe if there's one month to do anything else.
You mind? That's gonna take too much time. We don't have enough.
What? We literally have 10 minutes.
You can color this whole like outside blue, like this side blue, this side orange.
It's not gonna do well for this.
I don't care. I like when you color pencils.
What side do you want blue?
This side blue, split by this crease.
You're not gonna get your. You want me to fill in my O? That video is cursed.
Yeah, baby!
I think I showed it.
You learn what's critical.
Yes,
Hey, Riker, my man, don't die.
I can't not die unless I get that red inhaler.
Are you immortal like Seth?
I'm hoping the insurance will come to their senses, talk to my dad a little bit, hopefully I'll actually get it. Because it's basically steroids to keep me alive. Well, not keep me alive, but keep my,
Riker, is this true? You know everything in the world?
not everything.
Oh.
I don't.
Seth, you're wrong then.
There are things I do not know. Sports, I don't know sports at all.
Have to.
You didn't have to color it?
No, not all this.
No, like I meant. Back.
I didn't do blue. Yeah, a few new blue.
7 minutes.
Did you see the one I saw?
You're already transitioning. A minute.
I'm not yet.
We still have 7 minutes.
On the board.
I need you to move your hand.
Let me shake your hand. Let me shake, I just want to shake his hand. Let me shake your hand. Shake your hand.
I always saw like Stan from that one show. Exactly like that. Oh my God. That is literally the exact way Seth MacFarlane does it. No, Seth MacFarlane does it. Can you Roger though? It's gay. Oh my god. That exact point. These actually Steve, I'm gonna need it.
And what side this
I'm gonna need
Wow. Yeah, I have to do this too, right? Damn, Seth.
Oh my god, you are literally a Cleveland. Hey, you wanna go to the clan tonight? I can do, I can see show where I got six. Lewis, come in here. Lewis.
Bump me.
What?
Don't.
What is this?
Oh my, wait, could you do like inbred, let's do, it's southern inbred.
Okay, Seth. Mine was pretty bad too.
Honey, how you doing today? Hi, honey. But for some reason, she's tan, so she said sugar. Alright, sugar.
What do you not? What do you get black? Oh.
You like Jed?
My man's dying.
Right, you're at that poster Looks like,
Hey, no, actually four.
It's a good. Oh, you say. If we spit it on top. He's trying to swat.
Yeah.
Probably running like
Why does yoga not have to be so difficult?
It's from the same movie. Why does yogurt not have to be so difficult? He's like,
Why does yoga not have to be so difficult?
This is Shia LaBeouf. Okay, if you can't do it, just do Mark Wahlberg.
I know, I gotta think. You want Seth? Give to me.
I should like, no, keep
Oh, yeah.
Hey, I'm not done with the fat.
So I was just gonna say, That's all I do.
Yeah, dude.
Why is my Jesus?
You did it before. You don't know? You're unsure. About your own
The Jackass guys are
Somehow got a name on the storyboard. No, how's your things weren't true on that?
What? The one we did today? No way.
Don't tell her. Don't tell
I'm
her.
not going to. That's funny.
So this life is John said.
Yeah, 30.
What did you do? What do you do with that?
What?
This.
It's a bald, it's a bald eagle.
When he said he was.
not my choice.
Colors are pretty
No, I
tricky.
Give it to him. Just give it to him.
Right or wrong?
Would you do like a Jarvis impression? He's like vision, like oh, so. Okay. Worst case scenario ever for 60 credits. 50,000 feet in the air. Worst case scenario, what would be the worst thing for Jarvis to say? Oh, Iron Man's going to Mach 2. 50,000 feet. Oh, I'd be 100,000. 100 to 200,000.
What? Huh? What did I do?
What do you say, like?
I just sat in my chair. What are you talking about? No. Just getting on my desk like a normal person, you know? Huh? Thank you.
You know what, hey Joe?
Like 8.
You might think you're the best. I've never
You didn't send that to Don't send that to me.
Thanks, already been a minute.
Yes.
We have filmed it.
Ah, yes.
Just about.
Hey, both for my dog and English cream. He's my dog. He's right there with the little snake has his mouth coming out. Like little evil diamonds. It's like, you know, two triangles put together like that. And I also have this fishing today. I don't like the diamond because it's more like an emerald, isn't it? And because the diamond was kind of more of a topper than it triangle down. Hey, Cody.
What? Oh, hold on.
Never mind. Yeah, that's perfect. Thank you. I think so. Yeah, it's like one of those. Anyone that you think right because I want it. Oh, like a diamond. Yeah, like a diamond bat. But I thought I did.
Eric, is that your girlfriend?
No, I'm just talking to
Okay.
people.
There you go, Seth. Now you know.
Ready? Yeah, how? Okay.
Hey.
I got multiple posters that look
Okay. What are they telling you to do? What's the text number say?
like
Food is weapon.
it had text. It was
Weapon is
posters
food.
of war. I looked up pictures of war.
We need World War I propaganda posters.
Okay.
So look that up, and then that'll get you. All right, what were some of the things you
No
saw
way.
over and over again? You said food, something about food all the time. You see a lot of food posters as you searched. Yes, like food. No. Yes.
I seen
No,
one.
you did because that's
A
what you
lot
do.
of red, white, and
Some
blue.
of
A lot
them
of patriotism.
A lot of red, white, blue. Those are the colors.
A lot of patriotism.
Yeah, go ahead, go ahead.
That's your perception.
What else?
Patriotism.
Yes. So you probably saw red, white, blue is probably a lot of flags. Was there? What else was there? Symbols of that you saw? Little kids and a lot of women.
Sure.
So in this period, why would they show a lot of kids and women?
That's not where your
To
foot goes.
motivate
Yeah, you
Seth.
go. Huh?
Motivate them.
Yeah, because see, they're seeing, okay, they're children, they're weak, they're women, they're the gentler of the genders. Right? That's the stereotype, right?
We have to be tough for them.
Ragnar said there's a lot of racism, right? There was, right? There's no doubt about that. Demonizing the other side. Okay, that's the emotional appeal part too. Okay, so hopefully you kind of got an idea of what this was about. We're going to see him again in World War II. Will we see him again in the future?
Vietnam War.
Well, was there a lot of posters? You know,
There was a lot.
like I said, it's been a long time since we've had an all-out sort of war where we're all together on the same page. It's been a while. Yes.
In the Vietnam War,
Don't die.
They actually had writings on their helmets that they had to cover up,
Right.
and it fell off one time, and it said "War is hell,"
Right.
because it is.
Yeah, for sure.
It
No,
doesn't
no
matter
doubt.
who's who.
No doubt. All right, so let's get back into the notes. What's what we'll finish on today? Let's look and see now. World War II or World War I has the United States in it. So, what's our number one concern when getting into this war?
Winning.
Money.
Okay, but even before that, what do you got to do?
Preparing.
Well, we've already prepared. We have the soldiers. We have the equipment. What do we need to do next?
Pay the soldiers.
Well, okay, we pay them. We can do that. But we got to get from the United States to
The other side of the
to
world.
France. And what's the problem that lies in between there?
The U-boats.
Yes, thank you. What have
Huh?
the U-boats been doing?
Been destroying
They've
ships.
been sinking lots of ships. They're going to continue to sink. Hello. So they come up with this plan, but both the Allies, all the Allies realize it's a problem. They come up with a plan called the convoy system. Okay? Get a series of ships, battleships, to kind of on the outside to protect the supply line, to protect the soldiers who were going in and all the equipment. The one fatal flaw of the U-boats is they've got to surface fairly regularly because they are running off of diesel at this period. So they've got to come up, and when they do that, they're vulnerable. So they have to kind of stay away. So this is a big thing. We lost less than 100 men, and it becomes a really pretty big deal. Okay?
Wait.
So make sure you have that convoy system. I'm trying to go back to this. There we go.
Thank
We're
you.
back. This is a pretty big deal. And then, of course, the song. Do you know the World War I song, Over There? Because it's in the title. I never see that title. Over There. Over There.
Yeah, let's listen to it.
I don't know.
It doesn't sound familiar to me. We better listen to it.
Yes.
I mean, thank you.
100%. Let's listen to it. I'm sure it'll be your favorite song after you hear it.
Oh, I bet.
I'm sure it will be. Listen to this. Oops, sorry.
He just has it right there.
Remembered, and the somber public information notices
This is a
are the
good song
songs of
right here.
World War I. Among British troops, the top song of the war years was undoubtedly "It's a Long Way to Tipperary," which is not actually about war, but homesickness. The top American song to emerge from the war was certainly "Over There," which gave notice of the arrival of American troops in Europe to save the day.
Johnny, get your gun, get your gun, get your gun. Take it on the run, on the run, on the run.
So sad.
Calling you and me, everyone for liberty. Sorry right away, no delay, someday. Take your
Listen, I guess in the shower after football practice.
Tell your sweetheart not to mind. Be proud of the boys in line. Over there, over there. Send the word over
Huh?
there.
Because the Yanks
Why?
are coming.
The Yanks are coming. The drum coming everywhere. So prepare.
It's like, it doesn't feel right when it's like this. It doesn't look like it doesn't really look straight. Is it bad? It's because of the freaking bill.
No, it's just because it has like.
That's your jam.
That's straight up.
Yeah. Now, that was.
Should I just wear it backwards like this?
From
Is that better?
Now, when we get over there, the American Expeditionary Force, that's what they call the Army, the AEF,
Why?
was led by this guy, John Pershing,
Who is that?
who got the nickname of Blackjack. Pershing grew up in a military family. He actually fought on the plains against the Native Americans. He chased Pancho Villa, the Mexican outlaw and revolutionary. And he chased them all through Mexico. Kind of crazy. We actually penetrated about 400 miles into Mexico, had pitched battles and all sorts of things. Why did we chase him? Because Pancho Villa had actually crossed the border and had killed 18 Americans in New Mexico. So the only reason he stopped searching was because World War I broke out and he was tapped to lead the AEF. Okay? So Pershing's coming along, he's got his staff with him, they land in Paris and they go to the statue of Lafayette. Why would they go to a statue of some old dead French guy? Who was the Marquis de Lafayette? Did anyone know?
He's the one, he came from France. He got him the uniforms.
No, he's dead. Lafayette died in like 1820s or 30s. He participated in the American Revolutionary War. He fought with George Washington because the French helped us win that war, right? Against the British.
You know, I wish Mr. Brown was
So,
a teacher.
he goes up to the statue, they look at it,
Well, basically,
and they say, Marquis,
Where?
we have come. We are here to liberate. Right? So this was kind of a poignant moment.
Where does he live? Does he live in IF or here in Shelley?
How did the average European
Where?
ally?
I've seen him at Rollins over the
He
summer.
beat his house.
What do they think about Americans showing
Carter.
up to this?
I seen him over the summer.
Let's
This
listen to
last
what
summer,
Marty
and
was
he
looking at.
was walking into Rollins. I was walking out. He gave me the dirtiest look. He was like,
Dude, I want to see that guy. He hated me so much.
he hated everyone.
And many thought it would be over in a few weeks.
He hated everyone except Nevaeh.
The nations of Europe fought a grim, bloody stalemate that lasted 50 years.
Were you in
The
my
turning
class?
point came in
We put
1917.
wireless mouse
when
in
the
his
United States
Yeah.
was born. This would tip the scales in favor of the Allies, and everyone knew it at the time. Years later, an English nurse named Miracle first sighted American troops.
I pressed forward with the others to watch the United States physically entering the war. So godlike, so magnificent, so splendidly unimpaired in comparison with the tired, nerve-wracked men of the British Army. So these were our deliverers at last, marching up the road to Carrier in the spring sunshine.
Okay, what word did you use?
God magnificent.
Godlike. Wow, magnificent. In splendid. So how do you think Europeans felt about us showing up? Let's go. The Allies were excited. How does she describe the British and French soldiers?
Terrifying.
Not terrified. What was it?
Probably relieved.
Yeah, they're very tired. He said they're worn out. They're tired. And good thing we joined, because if we had not, then this event probably would have been the end for the Allies. So Russia, big time fighter on the Eastern Front, correct? Taking up a lot of German, Austrian resources and Ottoman resources. They pull out of the war in 1917. Why? Somebody knows? Why?
Whole thing called the Communist Revolution.
Okay, so there's a revolution in Russia, and it was based on communism. It's called the Bolshevik Revolution.
That's bullshit.
Yes, it is utter Bolshevism.
It is.
Not here.
Doesn't that mean like?
Basically, it's communist revolution. So it's a party. It's a political party. So Vladimir Lenin was a Russian who was really a pain in the butt for the czars and for the official government at the time. He ended up in Germany. Germany ended up shipping him back into Russia, probably to foment exactly what he did. But he was a disciple, or he read Karl Marx and Engels, who wrote about communism. Now, what do you know about communism? Anything? Have you learned anything that's actually accurate? Yes. What do you know?
A lot of propaganda.
Okay, well, there is a lot of propaganda, because the idea, you have to kind of sell it, right? So you need propaganda, okay? But what's the heart of it?
Everyone gets exactly what they need. And not
Okay, in fact, that was a famous, almost it's a proverb anymore of, what is it? To each according to his ability, to each according to his need. So the idea is that everyone's working, they're putting into this community pot, and then you get back what you need. All equal, right? Okay. Well, this developed, what?
A lot of dead people.
Well, that's okay. So this developed because Karl Marx, who was German, ended up in England. And during the Industrial Revolution, he noticed the workers were being treated really, really terrible in England. A lot of these factory cities like Manchester or Nottingham. And what he noticed was it was business guys, which he called capitalists, who owned the factory. They owned the tools, they owned the land, and they were exploiting the labor of these common folks. So what's the remedy? That's not a good situation. So what should happen is the workers should rise up and kick out the capitalists from the government or wherever they're ruling. And who should be placed on top of the society? The people, the workers, right? And he called the workers the proletariat, right? And he called the exploiters the capitalists. That's his theory. And so once the workers get on top, what's the life going to be like?
I don't know.
It's going to be beautiful. It's going to be a worker's paradise where everyone is treated equally, and it's sort of this communal-based society. The problem is trying to get everyone to agree on this and to get to that point takes a lot of authority if you're going to make it happen, right? So that's what we see in Russia was Vladimir Lenin takes over, and his party. Actually, there's a huge civil war. We won't go into all that, but his party ends up winning. And to make this a reality, so this workers' paradise, what does he do with the ruling czarist family? What does he do with the czars who have ruled Russia? Yes, that's right. He gets rid of them, kills them all, right? They're all dead. They're all traitors or whatever to the revolution.
This whole family, kids, women, little kids, sitting in a room.
The Romanovs, right? This is the
A
family.
group of men walk in and they shoot them all to death.
Yeah, I mean, they're shot down. They're assassinated. But of course, what's the story? What's the Disney story? Anastasia, the Russian princess.
It's a good movie because the evil wizard dude.
The evil wizard.
Yeah, the creepy fingers.
Right, so Rasputin, yeah, the Bishop Rasputin. Yeah, okay. So there is probably not a lot to that as far as it's correct, but they're dead. Okay. Point is, we now have a revolution. And so what do they decide to do? We're not fighting this imperialistic capitalist war. We're going to pull out. And when they pull out, what does that allow Germany, Austria, and the Ottoman Empire to do? Where can they focus all their resources on?
A war
on the Western Front. Where's the Western Front? Where is it? Give me the country.
France?
It's in France. pointing over here, they weren't doing it. Back here, France. Is she still working on her poster? It was due. I mean, we had a timer on this thing.
You should mark your points, like, yeah.
Late points? How many late points do you think? 10, 15? 10, she's like,
All of them.
so, because Germany knows this is probably their last shot, right? They're going to put everything they have. They're putting it all. They're going on a big offensive, right, in the spring of 1918. They bring out the big guns. They're bringing out the Big Bertha. They're doing it all, right? Big Bertha lobs those, what is it, like an 1,800-pound shell? 9 miles or something? It's some ridiculous stat. They push, they give a big push. By the way, I learned that the Big Bertha got her name from the inventor's daughter. Which
was she fat?
What's her name, Bertha?
Oh, yes, it was. So I don't know if he called it Big Bertha or if that's the name it got later, but that's a little derogatory.
It's a big crater.
We don't talk about people's weight.
Poor
Okay.
Bertha.
Empty Bertha. Okay. How does this go, by the way? Well, you okay? Go bathrooms? Okay. The Allies do get pushed back. It is pretty effective early on, but eventually, because of those reinforcements of the Americans. Now, we don't go piecemeal right into, we don't serve a little bit of French here. We were fighting as one unit, and our soldiers were at this point ready to go, and then we actually hold off this German offensive at the Second Battle of the Marne, which, remember, the first one got really close to Paris the first time. And I think if we had not been there, I don't know. I see it would be hard for France and England to be winning this thing, okay? Now, think about that. Had France and England lost and Germany won with this last offensive, what would that look like?
They would have taken, or Mexico would have taken back some of their land then, right?
Well, definitely France would have lost the rich mining territories. That would have been permanent. But there would have been no Hitler, would there have been?
There would have been.
Because part of this was Germany got upset because they lost in the way they were treated.
Guys,
You
we gotta
remove
go back
that.
in time and kill Hitler.
There could have been endless conflict after that.
Sure, there could have been. Because then France and England would be upset and they do want something. Yes. All right, so the last of these battles is now the Allies go on the offensive in an area called the Meuse-Argonne. This is kind of the forest area. Through between France and Germany. And it's actually a series of battles all over the place. But I want to focus on a few of these characters that come out of these battles. One of them is this guy. He's actually in your textbook. I don't know if you've ever seen or heard about this guy. This guy's name is Alvin. His name is Alvin York. He is from Tennessee. Okay.
The Alvin from Alvin and the
Not the Chickmunk. No, he's different. He's a person. But he's coming from Tennessee, and he's a very staunch Christian, and his sort of denomination is very against war, and he ends up not wanting to serve. But he finally does. He thinks it'll be kind of an act of service if he goes and he can help his fellow man.
In the medical corps.
Well, that's a different story, although there are similar stories like this all throughout. That's
Desmond Doss.
yeah, and the battle is in Okinawa, World War II.
Yeah.
Hello, what is it? They just did the movie.
I
I
loved Hacksaw.
Okay.
Dude,
Now, anyway, long
yes.
story short, he decides to join. And good thing he did for the people around him, because check this out. Listen to this. It says, one of America's greatest war heroes was Alvin York of Tennessee. On October 8th, 1918, York was one of thousands of Americans fighting in the Meuse-Argonne region of northeastern France. Trapped behind enemy lines, York and 16 other Americans took cover from blistering machine gun fire. As half of the American force fell, we're talking hundreds of people are dying here. York took aim with his rifle and silences a nearby machine gun pit. Okay. He then dodged a flurry of bullets to attack several other machine gunners and even charged one German position with just a pistol. So he's like fighting all day long. And we know this is fairly accurate because it gets recorded
That's
right
some
after.
Call of
and
Duty
there are
stuff right there.
eyewitnesses to this. No, it really is. When the firefight died down, York and the surviving Americans had taken the German position against amazing odds. York's battlefield heroics earned him a Congressional Medal of Honor. So that's a pretty amazing story of just one of our soldiers fighting. Tomorrow, I want to offer you some other people who were involved in this fighting that sometimes have been kind of not necessarily left out. If you know about World War I, you know about these people, but they're not in our popular memory like this. Okay? Questions? Okay, so we're coming to the end. Bum, bum, bum. And then, of course, there's always the politics that happen after the war. Okay, no questions? All right, we're time at 2:59. We get out here at 3, correct? Straight up?
Yep.
All right. That's it. See you tomorrow.
Hacksaw Ridge,
That's one of the best movies in the world.
even though it's rated R,
Yeah.
like I watched